Going live here in just a sec.
All right. Here we are.
Awesome. Looks like we are live. Hello, everyone. Happy Wellness Wednesday. Hope everyone is doing amazing this week. Super excited to be here and bring you another awesome guest. Today, we're speaking with Rachel. She's visited us before, and we briefly kind of talked about this, but she really is going to dive deep into ReSource. If you are curious about crypto, maybe you're scared, maybe you're nervous, maybe you're like me and you're like, I have no idea. She is going to explain to us this amazing new platform that is bringing crypto to the wellness space in kind of like a barter type situation. So really beneficial, especially to those of us who like to live holistically and like to trade and do things like that. So I'm really excited to have her speak with you guys about this. If you guys are here live, give us a hashtag live. Let us know that you're here. Help us get seen in the algorithm. Say hello. If you're watching the replay, drop us a hashtag replay. And I'm just going to let you take it from here. Rachel, hi. Thank you so much for coming back and speaking with us again. Super excited to have you.
Of course. It's so good to be here. I just so appreciate you and all your holding and this space. And it's really an incredible community that you are creating. And it's profound, like what knowing about our bodies, holistic health and wellness, how just that inherently brings community, I think. And it's super cool that you are such a carrier of that space on Facebook. So I'm super grateful for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Cool. I see there's some people with us. Good to see you here. You're probably like, what the heck is this girl going to talk about? Crypto and wellness space. Yeah, and I'm super excited to talk about ReSource. I'll tell you a little bit about my background first. Actually studied medical anthropology at Stanford and spent a long time working as a doula, a holistic doula. I still work as a doula and I study Ayurveda. So I've been, and in sustainable agriculture. So I've been deep in these worlds of holistic health and sometimes in very intellectual questions around health, like what actually allows for healthy systems, healthy ecosystems. Why is it that we can know what's good for our health and often do something very different? And so that's very much my background. And I'm currently working with an incredible project called ReSource. And ReSource, in a fancy way, is a crypto-backed barter network. Technically, it's a mutual credit network, but you can think of it as barter for the modern world. And so I could speak a lot about the visions of ReSource, but the core business model right now is people come to the network, businesses, conscious businesses, and holistic health wellness providers. They can have a profile. It's completely free to join. And in that network, there's a dollar. It's called the ReSource dollar. And so instead of you and I, Brittany, trading our services, you know, I could give you doula support and you could give me health coaching. Now, what if you don't need my doula services? You're like, sorry, I'm not pregnant. Well, I could then still receive your health coaching using the credits in the network, and you could use those credits to buy something else, buy a massage or organic food. And the model that we're working with right now is, I'll give the example, we launched here in Asheville, North Carolina, and a company called Mother Earth Food is on the network. They're a local organic food delivery system. And you can buy all of your groceries on the network. And they then give their ReSource dollars to their employees. And their employees are able to use that on holistic health services. So they can get acupuncture, massage, health coaching, therapy, organic food, oxygen treatments, et cetera, et cetera. And then
really
it starts
cool.
right? And this starts the very beginning of a circular economy. So then those practitioners trade with each other. And of course, they can buy back from Mother Earth food. And so a big part of what we're launching into is working, with mission-driven companies. So we're in conversations with some incredible brands that you would recognize, and services, and as broad as like mushroom chocolates, and not psychedelic, just medicinal. True.
Beneficial.
They are absolutely. We are talking with ketamine assisted therapists, and even like dog food, and also food delivery systems. And we're really looking at the moment to work closely with holistic health providers, that they would actually get the opportunity to increase their market, who they're exposed to, and be serving the employees of really incredible brands that are also joining the network, and then in turn be able to buy those products, cover their food costs, and slowly that network grows from there.
That's just such a cool idea. Like I love it. And you didn't even like have to talk about the crypto. Like I get it with the crypto scared me, I'm like, oh my goodness, like that's I totally get it though. It's like not, it's more of a barter. Like it's exactly. Not, I still am trying to figure out what are they mining? I thought it was digital.
Totally. I love that comment. And I mean, I think exactly what you just said, I was actually just about to say, like, you'll notice this is actually what in the blockchain cryptocurrency world, it's called a protocol. We are building something in Web3. Those are all big trigger words. But I just described to everybody what we're doing without actually mentioning crypto at all.
Yep.
And that for us is a huge part. The world, Web3, what cryptocurrencies are doing is really profound. Like we're at the time, it's very similar to the awakening of the internet, right? So cryptocurrencies are in that baby phase of like, what is this thing? And for those of you who are deep in crypto, it's really profound technology. Like what's possible with blockchain technology is quite profound, and definitely where many of systems are moving into. However, if we don't make those technologies accessible to everyday people who maybe want to understand the ins and outs of that technology, or maybe they don't, well, then we're doing a disservice to the technology, and we're going to just replicate what's already happened in our current economic and technology spaces. And so why I'm excited about ReSource is it's actually taking this technology and using it as a way to say, actually, we can support local communities. We can be locally resilient. We can find new ways to give credit to one another by using this technology, and you don't have to know anything about it to use it. And that is what I think is needed when any new tool exists in the world. What actually is it doing, and how do we actually help it serve our communities?
Absolutely. We got a question. Can this be accessed by any country?
Oops. Of that space on. I'm hearing myself twice. Okay. Good question. I think I see that that's from Christina. Great to see you. It cannot. So eventually that's right now it's in the US. We have a Swiss company also. Because it's a protocol, and a protocol just means this is open source software that eventually can be adopted by the people in whatever. So in a way, what I do, I sometimes work myself out of a job, and I like it that way. I want it that way. So the protocol has profound implications of what it can do in other countries. I mentioned in the beginning that mutual credit basically means when you're on ReSource, you are able to go into the negative. So you can spend resource dollars before you have them. And why can you do that? Because you've come to the network with goods and services to offer. So I am a doula and I have Ayurvedic coaching. So we as a community say, okay, we trust that you can always give that back to the network. And because you have goods and services, we are okay with you going into the negative. Ultimately, that's giving people credit, zero interest credit. That's pretty profound. It's profound in the US, but it's even more profound when you think of adopting something like this in a country where they currently, if you were to take any form of loan, would pay 80% interest. There are places like that. And that makes it almost impossible to get out of debt. It makes it impossible to fund a business in a real way. And so when you think of applying ReSource to certain countries in certain places, the implications are really big. So we think that if we are successful in the US, which we are proving to be successful, it's one of the harder places actually to be successful because most people could get a credit line if they needed to elsewhere. So I hope that Christina says she's in New Zealand. I think you're the main person with us right now. I would love to bring ReSource to New Zealand. We could talk about you being the person that brings it to New Zealand, most definitely. So it's not impossible, but it's not there yet. Right now, we're really focused on key cities in the US. So in Los Angeles, Austin, here in Asheville and throughout North Carolina, and then a bunch of other cities in California, the Bay Area, Sacramento, San Diego.
Cool. What about me here in Phoenix, Arizona? Any plans for
Arizona? I mean, something that's unique for you, Brittany, is I know you do a lot of remote offerings. I think you do. So
yeah,
anybody who's
pretty
remote,
much 100% remote.
Yes. So anybody who's remote can actually join now. So any services that are remote. The one process with remote is you have access to the other services that are remote. So other coaching, a lot of products, more and more products are coming on board that are possible to buy with ReSource dollars. The biggest thing that we like to bring into new cities is food, because we think if it gives people a tangible, like, oh, this is like a really valuable thing. I can really cover my groceries cost with this dollar. And it makes it a little more real in people's mind. But where we are currently, remote providers are like absolutely welcome. I've done more talking in Sedona about ReSource than I have in Phoenix, but that's very close to you.
Yep. Yep. One of my favorite spots. I love Sedona.
Yes. Oh my God. I used to live there. It's so special. So Christina says, I'm a medical astrologer with an Ayurvedic background. Oh, cool. I'm also have an Ayurvedic background. And you're asking, so would I offer my service in exchange for Bitcoin? Is that how it works? Thank you for the question. It's not how it works. Bitcoin, so ReSource is built on, I'm going to get a little nerdy for you all, but feel free to fast forward if this is irrelevant to you. Our protocol is built on the Ethereum blockchain, which is off of Celo. So it's actually built on the Celo blockchain. You might have heard of the Celo coin. What's cool about that is it's carbon neutral. So you might have heard about cryptocurrencies are bad for the environment, and some of them are, and there's also some that are completely working to prevent that. You do not trade your services for Bitcoin. You trade your services for other goods and services in the network. And the crypto aspect of it has to do with, I mentioned you can get a credit line. And the way you get a credit line is through our currency called Source. It's a token, crypto token. And those can be put up as collateral for a credit line to be created. So that's kind of the crypto aspect for it. So you cannot ever sell your ReSource dollar and get other dollars or other cryptocurrencies. But it is using blockchain technology and a cryptocurrency to allow that trade to happen, basically.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Does that make sense, Christina? Let us know. Let us know in the comments. I think it's a really cool idea, and I like the fact that I don't really have to know about crypto.
Yeah,
Full benefits.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I would love to check out more of this.
Yes.
It says, do you need source tokens?
That's a great question. You don't need source tokens down the line. So a lot of people ask what our business model is, and the business model is ultimately having eventual transaction fees. So if you think of like PayPal or a credit card, you don't notice it, but there is a 3% transaction fee that's usually paid on the seller's side for being able to process credit cards. So in a way, you can think of ReSource evolving into the cryptocurrency of PayPal or of a credit card. And so those transaction fees will be paid in source. However, that is not implemented yet in the platform and won't be for a while. And there will be a lot of support for early adopter members to have their transaction fees covered for a fair amount of time.
Cool. Okay. Can these be purchased via crypto? So that's, you kind of just answered that, right?
So yes, Source token can be, it's on many exchanges. We do have a Discord and Telegram for those crypto folk. And Uniswap and a few other big exchanges, you'll be able to buy Source token. But for the purpose of this call, none of that is actually that relevant. And I think that gives a good overview of what ReSource is. I want to be able to keep this digestible in length for all those people watching it on the replay. So I'll just reiterate that if you're interested, you're more than welcome to set up a call with me. And I also will put in the comments our apply form. It's 5 questions. It takes 1 minute. If you're interested and you want a storefront created, if you're in one of those locations, LA, Austin, North Carolina, or throughout California, or remote, you can apply and we create your storefront for you. Then there's an option for you to decide which listings you want to post, edit your profile, but we do the like initial part for you. And we can always talk more about what it means, what it looks like, what proves to be successful on the site. I also host regular info sessions on Facebook about ReSource. So I can also share some of those with you. And please, please, please reach out with questions, or if you're interested, then we can talk.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll link all of that in the comments so that you have all of the information, and I'll make sure that Rachel is tagged in here too. She is a group member, so you can just search her name as well, shoot her a message if that's okay with you, and then
Absolutely.
or just comment below, and she'll see the comments, and she can reach out to you as well. If you guys would like more information.
Absolutely.
Such a cool idea, and getting, back to how communities used to be, right? Like, and we do that in this community too. Like, I trade with other practitioners. I've traded my services, and like we've gone back and forth. So really cool idea. I love it, and if you're like me, don't let the crypto part scare you guys, because really it's irrelevant. Like you don't need to like deal with or know anything about it. I really like the way you explained it at the beginning. I was like, I didn't hear crypto one time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Bartering on a network, trading services, trading goods, like that's it,
Bartering for the modern world is often what I say.
Yeah, absolutely. Really cool. Is there anything else you want to let us know before we get out of here?
I think I'll leave it at that. So much gratitude for you and just the space you hold and what you're creating. And I mean, y'all, Brittany holds it down in this space. We like it's an almost part-time, full-time job being who you are. So
yeah, the group definitely takes a little bit of time
yeah.
to manage, but me and Chris do our best, and we love this community, and we love bringing people, like you and Near to come in and like talk to us about these opportunities and these amazing different things, so that we can build us all up, holistically, and with the environment, and our bodies and everything, keeping that all into consideration. So thank you so much for coming and explaining that to us. Like I said, guys, I will link everything in the notes below, so that you can check it out. You can reach out to Rachel, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week.
Yes, you too, everybody. See you online.
Bye, guys.